That'll preach. That'll preach. One run, just one run. I want to turn your attention to, thank you, son, Job chapter 2, verse 1 to 13, briefly. It is our endeavor that we start when we're supposed to start. Our obligations is intensified. The work is expanded.
Yes, sir.
The opportunity has been extended by the grace of God to do greater works. When you have it, you may say, I have the word. Sickness is really on the rise, I'm telling you. Very serious, and you need to understand that how important it is to have a prayer life.
Yes, amen. Amen.
First lady received an attack in her body back that almost really threw her all totally out of order this morning.
My God.
And the thing is that stuff can happen real quick. Hello. Stuff can happen real quick. And just like that, you can be out of here.
I know that's right. Yeah.
Without a chance to get stuff right.
That's right, Lord.
Read for us, please.
Job chapter 2 verse 1 says, And again there was a day when the sons of God came, present themselves before the Lord. And Satan came also among them to present himself before the Lord. And the Lord said unto Satan, From whence cometh thou? And Satan answered the Lord and said, From going to and fro in the earth, and from walking up and down in it. And the Lord said unto Satan, Hast thou considered my servant Job, that there is none like him in the earth, a perfect and upright man, one that feareth God and beseech evil, and still he holdeth fast his integrity. Although thou movest me against him to destroy him without cause. And Satan answered the Lord and said, Skin for skin, yea, all that a man have he will give for his life. But put forth thine hand now and touch his bone and his flesh, and he will curse you to thy face. And the Lord said unto Satan, Behold, he is thine hand, but save his life. So went Satan forth from the presence of the Lord, and smote Job with sore boils from the sole of his feet unto his crown. And he took him a potsherd to scrub himself withal, and he sat down amongst the ashes. Then said his wife unto him, Thou still retain thy integrity? Curse God and die. But he said unto her, Thou speakest as one of the foolish women speaketh what? Shall we receive good at the hand of God, and shall we not receive evil? In all this did not Job sin with his lips. Now when Job's 3 friends heard of this evil that was come upon him, they came every one from his own place, Eliphaz and Teman and Bildad the Shunammite and Zophar the Naamite, for they had made the appointment together to come to mourn with him and to comfort him. And when they lifted up their eyes afar off and knew him not, they lifted up their voice and wept, and they rent every one his mantle and sprinkled dust upon their heads toward heaven. So they sat down with him upon the ground 7 days and 7 nights, and none spake a word unto him, for they saw that his grief was very great.
Praise the Lord. First of all, I'd like you to look at your neighbor and ask the neighbor a question. Say, neighbor, what kind of Christian are you? I like to speak from the subject. Be aware of fair weather Christians. I might even break that down even more so that you can understand it, is watch out for good weather Christians. Very significant message because we find that this is something that's in every ministry. People love to be able to show off during the time that things are going well. And as long as things are going well, oftentimes you have people that will be faithful to the cause. But just let the weather change. Look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, don't let the weather change.
Don't let the weather change.
In the text here, we find that Job was one that feared God and eschewed evil. He avoided evil. He served God.
Yes, yes.
And oftentimes, when you're serving God, sometimes your faith has to be tested.
Yes, it is. Yes, it
That's
is.
the truth.
Faith not tested is faith not trusted.
Trust it. Amen.
You can say whatever you will and you can say whatever you may. But if you never tested by the testimony you give, then nobody knows really that you're up to the testimony until you've been tried and you come out
Yes.
and prove faithful regardless of what the test has been.
All right.
And here now, we find in this text concerning Job, Job was one that feared God, and God was able to testify in Job's behalf.
Yes.
The sons of God presented themselves before God. Here comes the uninvited guest, Satan.
Amen.
He's always going to show up
Yes.
at your party. I don't care whether it's a family reunion, birthday party, there's going to be somebody that's going to show up at your party that's very interrupted. Ain't talking to none of y'all out there. Have you ever had something going on and you invited some guests, but somehow or another somebody else got word that you having something and they showed up uninvited?
All right.
And you have to ask them a question, who invited you?
Who invited you?
Who invited you?
Invited you.
And so now here we see Job will now have God testifying in his behalf to Satan.
Yeah.
Have you considered my servant Job, that there's none like him? Can God say that about you?
All right. All right.
Can God say that you are worth me testifying in your behalf and letting Satan know this is one of my choice pieces, one of my choice vessels whom I can count on and